Imagine a nation that just decades ago could barely feed its own people, now the world's most powerful economic giant. A country that was once crippled by extreme poverty and cut off from the modern world has transformed into an economic superpower boasting the longest high-speed rail network and the greatest number of skyscrapers on Earth. China didn't simply get lucky. This is the result of the most radical economic experiment in human history. Not long ago, China was a closed, impoverished agrarian nation. Yet today, look around you. The phone in your pocket, the clothes on your back, the components inside your laptop. Almost all of them carry the label, Made in China. How did they pull this off in such a remarkably short period of time? Were they merely talented copycats? Or is there a far greater secret hidden behind their walls? We are about to dissect the extraordinary journey that lifted billions of people from absolute zero to the very peak of the world. It all began with one man, Deng Xiaoping in 1978. China was in chaos following the Mao Zedong era. The economy had ground to a halt, and people were starving under a rigid communal system. Deng arrived with a now legendary quote, "It doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. It's a good cat." For Deng, ideology was meaningless when people were going hungry. He launched the Reform and Opening Up policy that fundamentally restructured the nation. His first revolutionary move was establishing special economic zones, with Shenzhen as the flagship project. Why Shenzhen? Its location was strategic, sitting directly on the border with Hong Kong, already a global financial hub. The strategy was brilliant. Regional governments were empowered to generate their own revenue without waiting for approval from Beijing. China offered massive tax incentives and an abundant cheap labor force to attract global manufacturers. Simultaneously, a household responsibility system was introduced in rural areas. Farmers were now permitted to sell their surplus harvests on the open market. The results were immediate. Food production exploded, incomes rose, and China officially became the world's factory. Entering the 1990s, the baton passed to Jiang Zemin. If Deng Xiaoping was the architect who built the factory, then Jiang was the global marketing director who took China's products to the international stage. He was a technocrat who understood clearly that China could never truly rise by only dominating its own backyard. The most pivotal moment in China's modern economic history came in 2001, when China was officially admitted into the World Trade Organization. It was a bold and risky move. China had to throw open its domestic market to brutal global competition. Yet the results were nothing short of extraordinary. Following WTO accession, China's export value surged fivefold in just one decade. To membership granted China international legitimacy, confirming that Chinese-made goods were fit to flood the markets of America and Europe with minimal tariff barriers standing in the way. Jiang also pushed through painful reforms by privatizing thousands of inefficient state-owned enterprises, commonly dubbed zombie companies. While many workers lost their jobs in the process, the move was necessary to stop state funds hemorrhaging into loss-making businesses. Nevertheless, he maintained an iron grip on strategic sectors, energy, telecommunications, and banking, as the fortresses of economic defense. It was during this era that China's infrastructure building frenzy truly began. Thousands of kilometers of motorways and state-of-the-art ports were constructed at breathtaking speed. The logic was simple yet devastatingly effective. Don't wait for the economy to grow before building roads. Build the roads first, so the economy has a runway to accelerate. This infrastructure drive also served as a powerful tool to absorb massive numbers of workers and pump money directly into the construction sector. Jiang successfully ensured that China evolved beyond a mere manufacturing hub into a nation with world-class logistical connectivity, capable of shipping goods to every corner of the globe efficiently and cheaply. Next came the era of Jintao in the early 2000s, often dismissed as bland and lacking the charisma of his predecessors, who was nevertheless the leader under whom China made history, overtaking Japan to become the world's second-largest economy in 2010. He was the kind of leader who worked quietly but with laser focus on national stability. He introduced the concept of scientific development, acknowledgement that China's breakneck economic growth had come at a severe cost. Devastating environmental damage and a widening gulf between the prosperous coastal cities and the impoverished, rural interior. He began steering the nation away from chasing raw GDP figures towards mastering high technology and delivering more equitable social welfare. It was during this era that the seeds of today's tech giants, Huawei, XP, and Lenovo, began their assault on global markets with increasingly competitive products. China was no longer simply producing toys and clothing. It was moving aggressively into sophisticated telecommunications equipment. China also executed a remarkably bold financial strategy: stockpiling U.S. Treasury bonds and dollars on a massive scale, accumulating reserves of $3 trillion. This became their financial weapon, granting them extraordinary leverage at international negotiating tables and making them the single largest creditor to the United States. The crowning moment came with the 2008 Beijing Olympics, China's declaration to the entire world that it was no longer a third world nation. The iconic Bird's Nest Stadium and flawless organization left the world speechless. When the 2008 global financial crisis brought Western economies to their knees, who kept China's growth momentum remarkably steady. While America and Europe were desperately clawing their way out of recession, China surged forward with a massive infrastructure stimulus package, closing the economic power gap with the United States at an accelerating pace. The Hu era was the era in which China began building the technological and financial muscle that would become the foundation of power for the leader yet to come. Then came the era of Xi Jinping from 2012, carrying the most ambitious vision. In China's modern history, the Chinese dream. Xi had no intention of keeping China as the world's tailor, stitching clothes for foreign brands. He wanted China to become the creative mind behind global innovation. He fundamentally shifted the economic orientation away from cheap exports and towards domestic consumption and high technology. One of his most iconic policies was the Belt and Road Initiative, launched in 2013. Modern New Silk Road, representing over $1 trillion in investment to build a network of ports, highways and railways across more than 60 countries. The strategic objective was clear: ensure that all global trade routes ultimately lead back to Beijing, while securing a reliable energy supply for Chinese industry. Through the Made in China 2025 program, Xi pushed China to lead the world in artificial intelligence, robotics, and electric vehicles. Today, China is the world's largest producer of electric cars, posing a direct threat to the established dominance of German and American manufacturers. Domestically, Xi launched a sweeping anti-corruption campaign, the Flies and Tigers initiative, while simultaneously directing development deep into rural regions, successfully lifting 800 million people out of extreme poverty. It is a humanitarian achievement no nation in history has ever matched, yet this success is frequently misunderstood as purely the product of authoritarianism. In reality, China's true secret lies in meritocracy, a rigorous leadership selection system based entirely on demonstrated results. Rooted in the ancient imperial examination traditions of the Han Dynasty, officials must build their careers from the very bottom. To become a governor, one must first succeed as a village leader, then a district head, then a provincial administrator. Every promotion is evaluated on hard numbers: economic growth and poverty reduction within their jurisdiction. This system produces a bureaucracy staffed by competent technocrats and engineers. They are not held hostage by short-term electoral cycles that constantly disrupt policy. China's leaders can plan 50 years ahead and execute those plans with unwavering consistency, free from partisan political interference. It is a luxury that most democracies today simply cannot afford. Beyond meritocracy, China runs on an extreme work culture known as 996, working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. While widely criticized for its toll on mental well-being, this relentless engine is precisely what has driven construction and development to move at a pace that leaves the rest of the world speechless. In China, building an emergency hospital with thousands of beds can be completed in a matter of days. This extraordinary speed is paired with a remarkable ability to absorb foreign technology at lightning pace. China was never ashamed to learn from others at the start, but they never simply copied. They modified, refined, and innovated until their products became more efficient and more affordable than the originals. Yet this progress has not come without a heavy price. China's wealth has been built on significant environmental Sacrifice. Many cities suffocated under thick layers of air pollution for years. There is also a profound social cost. The erosion of privacy through an iron curtain of digital surveillance, with millions of facial recognition cameras deployed in the name of national security. The vast gulf between billionaires and gleaming metropolitan cities and factory workers, crammed into dormitories, remains one of their most pressing challenges. China today is also grappling with a rapidly aging population and mounting economic pressure from Western nations determined to slow their technological rise. What can the world learn from this? China has demonstrated that a nation can rise from complete ruin, provided it possesses a clear long-term vision, a capable bureaucracy, and an extraordinary work ethic. They have proven that poverty is not a permanent destiny, but a technical problem, one that can be solved through meticulous planning and disciplined execution. China's rise is not merely a story of numbers. It is the story of a nation's dignity, a civilization once humiliated by history that chose to stay silent, to learn, and to work, until the world had no choice but to acknowledge their power. In the end, the dragon that once slept has fully awakened, and its presence has redrawn the map of global power permanently. China has shown that with competent leadership and unity of purpose, even the seemingly impossible can be achieved within a single generation. It is a reminder to every nation on Earth. Great success always begins with collective discipline and the courage to embrace fundamental change. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. See you soon. Bye.